What's good, YouTube and Twitch? We're live to both right now with a market watch for you guys. The PPG, the Pro Play Games event in Fort Worth, was insane, and it's given a lot of insight into the coming meta, as well as a YCS, and crazy things have happened. First off, with the new Pendulum deck, the Endymions are here, and the Mythical Beasts were thought to be one of the best strategies to really mix in it, but we've seen Endymion the more so engine than deck, and the Mythical Beast not putting in the work people thought. So you do quickly see another buyout here over the weekend. Garda jumping up as well, yet not a lot of people really using them. Even not Jackal King, but Jackal the Rare is up there as well. And you see slight movement up in Jackal King. People are opting to play Jackal King out of all the mythical beasts, but out of the variants doing extremely well, it does seem that they're not really using Master Cerberus, because if it gets ashed and stuck in scale, that's an ouchies. And so you see over here on eBay, apparently you can't buy from this listing. I thought it was somebody that's going, oh yes, please take everything, but chat was telling me they were cards they couldn't buy. And you see 15 over here. I'm not saying they're terrible cards. They are really good at getting spell counters, but again, falling to a hand trap that's now in everybody's possession is a little bit much. Now, what is putting in work is the Morphage engine, and we've seen some unexpected Morphages pop up. Now, Sloth, gotta give Cali Effect credit. He is one of the first to shout this out, and it's seeing play. That level body, able to Pendulum summon out somewhat easily. Pretty good. Goliath is where it's really at, though, and with no reprints for Morphages, they're starting to lose their quantities on market. These were never reprinted in the Megatons, so if you're thinking about using the engine, I've said this before with Arcbrave and Goliath, you want to get yours sooner than later, especially as more formats develop, but Lechery is one of the big ones getting bought out right now. Just a bit ago, it had way more prices. There were ones available for quarters. People seem to be buying up all the cheaper ones, just as I've been streaming, as we had Alex Berger on top with a very cool list, and then use this with Goliath to shut people out of their spells. But one Pankratops does get through this strategy. You special summon Pankratops, attack over a Jackal King, pop the Goliath, and now there's no Morphage on field, and you're just able to kind of wombo off on them, as long as there's not a Boral Sword or anything crazy, to just turn your Pankratops to defense. Alex also talked about some of the plays he set up to do that. So, Lechery, pretty good. Ultra, never got a reprint. Quantities disappearing. You see it's up here on eBay further towards $2+. And there is a difference. We'll show later in Market Watch of a card that was completely not valued on eBay, being an even 99 cents, that people are just willing to get rid of for that feedback, versus a card like this where 2 seems low. It quickly heads towards 3, but there's not many left. So again, if you're considering messing around with the Morphages within Pendulum decks, you have all these mishmash things that can fit together with Pendulums. Stun seems like a way to go, and shutting out Sky Strikers, a pretty huge bonus of taking them out of both the extra deck and playing spells. That's one matchup that feels good, man. And it has its uses against Solomon Grace, of course. Chronograph Sorcerer running almost all the way out of quantities towards 9 and over $5 here. On eBay, it's a little cheaper at $4.50 before quickly heads towards 7. It's basically just becoming non-existent. Again, get yours sooner than later, but there's a lot of Pendulum evolution that wasn't open. Store owners that just weren't happy with their boxes that were having to be sold for $30, $35, that now might be opening them and trying to get through them. And excuse my stumbling, I've only been streaming for about 30 hours this weekend, and this is life. You gotta deal with it with me. Dragoncaller Magician is a card that was completely under most people's radars. A magician, searchable by Pendulum Call, that can turn your cards into dragons, or one of your opponent's monsters if you have a reason to, because its monster effect also helps to damage and attack against dragons. So you have kind of these meme-like effects with it too that could actually pay off, and with the monster effect. But the Pendulum effect, really to note, helps your Guard Dragon engine, because just turning anything into a dragon on the field seems pretty good when you're trying to go up through multiple guard dragons, and really allows you to expand past where you usually would. Now, this was completely unvalued on eBay. You see 99-cent copy, dollar copy flats, and they're taking a PayPal fee here of 30 cents, and then a stamp, etc. So they basically considered this card bulk up to this point. You're seeing eBay only 19 prices available, though, and over here on TCG Player, several pages, so it's going to be hard to get these low price price ones, you'll have to be looking at other people's that you'd be already shopping from to get this cheap right now. But I do expect people to be eating this tech up because that's good. The Guard Dragon engine, not to be underestimated, and with Pendulums starting to feel almost stronger than Thunder Dragons. At the PPG, 1 Thunder Dragon Danger topped, whereas 3 Endymion decks topped, and with Dark Worm and Destrudo naturally in the deck, and now Dragoncaller Magician is an option that people are aware of, you're going to see it just a little bit more with how cheap it is. Transitioning, the anti side for Pendulums is still relatively cheap for the ultra rare. Do get it sooner than later if you're considering going to the WCQ and thinking you might be facing the Pendulum matchup. We also saw this sided in a ton for Sky Strikers, really kind of surprising how much it did, and even other odd-off matchups like Trick Stars where, hey, you can't play the field spell. That's kind of funny. You need that, don't you? So, like, Anti-Spell Fragrance, putting in work in a lot of side decks, not just for the Pendulum matchup. Definitely don't let this one just pass you by because you're like, oh no, Pendulum matchup's fine. It's more than just that. Although, maybe you're speculating that list will really hit Strikers. Konami did say they're not shaking things up too much. Now, a card not just for Pendulums, but many decks that we saw by tons of the best players in Texas. Solemn Strike finding its way main decked into a lot of lists. And while there are more budget copies than the Secret Rare from Mosh, 4 something for Solemn Strike for Crota the Duelist. 5 something almost for the Ultra. You're at the 450 to 5 mark. And you look at the Mega 10 Secret, okay, $6. Bosch Original Unlimiteds, $7, $7.50. This isn't usual for a card that sees play in formats. You're going to see these secrets, even though it's no longer the highest rarity due to the Ultimate, start to go as it gets played in the format. And we can see this trend already on eBay. Bosch Secrets starting at $12 for the Unlimiteds. They actually have cheaper first eds on TCG Player 2 with $11 copies. I think the lowest over here is something towards, yeah, $14, $15. So, realistically, TCG Player oddly winning a ton of these battles on prices during this market watch. Usually it's the other way around. Gotta hand it to TCG Player. They have some cheap sales for what we were looking at from the meta that's developing. Speaking of increasing prices, Ignis Heat has gone up into another buyout. We've seen this several times before, but this time it's more natural because, first off, several buyouts happen. Second off, we just got a big reprint with Card Demise being $5 each, a $15 playset. It's natural that once you have these cards in your hand, you're saying, hey, I have like a whole True Draco deck except for 3 Ignis Heat. Oh, I better get those sooner than later. And so you see it increase from 12, you see it increase to 15 as its market price was, and now it hits another maybe more natural buyout than it usually was. But on eBay, we're looking at it being pretty much more right now, almost completely bought out over there. So that always check both mentality, not even saving you that much money with Ignis Heat, but there's a more natural reason just besides, hey, it got bought out. Well, look at how everything moves. When something becomes cheaper in a deck, things do tend to go up because more people have access. There were a ton of duels playing True Draco at Texas despite it not being represented the top cut. There were a ton in the room. Speaking of other cards that went up, you know, over time, Dragons of Legend, Eye of Timaeus is going up. It's always been that collectible card. It's obvious, kind of like Toon Kingdom, Secret Rare. Nobody's playing it in the meta, but Dragons of Legend has this odd magnet for being this collectible set. Very, very retro pack feely almost. And it's one of those first modern collector sets where the sealed product, it demands a ton of value. And you have all these cards that have reprinted different rarities, but they managed to maintain decent value. So Eye of Timaeus, just as a note, if you're a collector, you've held off for some reason. I really think you would have got it on the original reprints of Eye of Timaeus where this tanked down. I remember this being like $6 for a second. You're, I guess, missed out? Question mark. It's not a big want for me. I don't really see the appeal as much other than it looks really nice. But hey, that Dark Magician support did look pretty nice for what came out. It's not making it meta or anything, but a lot of people were excited about the update as it was one of the first dual power buyouts. Maybe this has something more so to do with that. Ghost Ogre. Our little ghost grills are a lot cheaper thanks to dual power. And to note, it's all Ogre. You may have heard that too many times from the stream. Ghost Ogre is really good against the Pendulum Magician matchup, but also really good against Summon Sorcerers. And we've seen Salomon Greats choosing to main deck her, yet, thanks to dual power, She's cheaper than ever, $6 for the dual power version. It's also brought, if you like the super rare more, I actually like how it looks, $6 for the super rare copy, and then the rest of them are trying to hang more towards that 10-ish that they used to be. And the ultimate rare, hey, up there like Solemn Strike. But you really only have yourself to blame if you don't really save up and get your hand traps right now while they're cheap. Common Droll-and-Lock, under $5. I didn't think I would see it. I thought it would be carrying the Spellcaster Structure deck, but I guess there's a lot of people that have Pendulums for cheap that are going after the Endymion stuff too. But hey, Droll-and-Lock, under $4. I didn't think I would see the day even in a structure deck. I thought it would be like Ash Blossom and just try to hold up value. So really awesome time to be a duelist and get your more generic staples like hand traps, because hand traps will fit into a lot of decks. You want to take advantage of these lower prices, even if you speculate that they're going to be reprinted again. You're going to get your mileage out of these cards over maybe a year to two before that happens. So it's time to getting. It's time to go ahead and make sure you have these cards instead of letting them go and letting them just raise naturally over time. Were you trying to say something?
Yeah. Also on the topic of the hand traps, I was looking, the Kaiba Collection Ash, the ultra rare, is actually really down right now as well. So if you're looking to get a nice copy, it might be worth it to go out and look at.
The mid-range is usually not what people desire. Of course, Secret Rare is still up there towards 30, but like, yeah, you see the Legendary Collection Kaiba one is at 10, but it's also an Ultra from Dual Power, and the quantity I would think would be way higher for that, right? Yeah, so you see the Ultra Rare from Dual Power, same rarity, 887 versus, it's like a 60 cents different. Realistically, it comes down to the stamp that you want on it, huh? But in my opinion, Super looks fine too. It's very, very cheap to upgrade from a common, though, if you want these supers or ultras for Ash. So, thanks for watching today's Market Watch. I like doing these live, even if I stumble a little bit more, even if, you know, it's not perfect. I really do enjoy doing these with stream. I've had comments that are like, oh, you should hide the stream chat when you do these. The whole point is I love this interaction. I actually love going back, watching my own Market Watch, and seeing what chat has to say and add to the conversation. Like, check up on Zephyra. That's actually something we're going to do at the end there, because I've missed that in several Market Watches. Zephyra Endymion, highly speculated to be one of the better versions, and it is what some duelists were choosing to play. I think Quentin Brown might have been playing it. I need to look up that list in a second, but we do see the Secret Rare is back up, almost doubled from its market price, and the Super is almost doubled in its market price. So a lot of people with Zephyra and expecting it to work well with the deck, it is what the OCG did, so it's something I've missed out on. See, chat adds to the conversation. I enjoy it. It's how I'm going to do my content, and you can voice criticism, but I really do enjoy including chat. It's part of the community, and it's really what I personally enjoy. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the overall conversation with me. You don't have to agree with me, but if you enjoyed the conversation, give it a thumbs up. And we'll see you next time, to steal Simo's phrase, since we sat with him all day.